We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with some news regarding the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. Now, by all means, while Cody Rhodes' last run in WWE ended in a pretty unceremonious way, with Cody clearly being featured as nothing more than a lower-end mid-card talented stardust, Cody Rhodes turned his wrestling career around completely outside of WWE and rebuilt himself, and now 6 years later, Cody Rhodes has returned to WWE and is going to be having a completely new career trajectory in WWE, with it more than clear that Vince McMahon plans for Cody to be pushed as a legit top-level main event superstar for years to come, after scoring massive wins over Seth Rollins following his return at WrestleMania 38. With WWE in a bit of uncertain territory right now when it comes to their big drawing superstars, with some of their biggest names either only working part-time like Brock Lesnar, and as well as Roman Reigns, who has quietly transitioned into becoming a part-timer, there's no doubt the company was in desperate need of some fresh new talent to push to the top. And Cody Rhodes is going to be one of those superstars WWE invest a lot in and push to the moon, so to speak. As of right now, it looks like Cody Rhodes will be having a similar career to Drew McIntyre, who was once nothing more than a low mid-card talent in WWE, was eventually released, rebuilt, and reinvigorated their career outside of WWE, and then returned to find way more success and multiple WWE world title runs. When it comes to the WWE 2K22 video game, a lot of fans have been hoping for Cody Rhodes to be added to the game, who returned a month or so after the video game was released in March 2022, and apparently WWE were reportedly working on Cody being added as a DLC character in 2K22, although that may not happen given the time restraint. But it doesn't stop there, because a wrestling podcaster by the name of James Stewart recently suggested the idea of Cody Rhodes possibly being the superstar featured on the cover of WWE 2K23, and Cody responded to this fan and podcaster with this statement, quote, "I don't know the talented folks at WWE Games, but I'm a pretty decent gambler, and I would bet they're working very hard on something special for pro wrestling fans." Now, if that is something being planned for WWE 2K23, we likely haven't even really gotten a sense for how much WWE planned to push Cody Rhodes, and he could really be the superstar Vince plans to push as the face of the company now that Roman Reigns is transitioning out of being a full-time talent. And let us know your thoughts firstly on Cody Rhodes possibly being the cover superstar on WWE 2K23, and as well, do you believe Cody Rhodes has what it takes to be that top-level main event superstar for WWE, and possibly even the face of the company altogether? Or is Cody not the guy you would push to the top if you were in charge? Let us know down in the comment section below. While Veer Mahaan started out as a bit of a meme for wrestling fans, with WWE continuously teasing Veer's arrival on Monday Night Raw, which at the time seemed like it would never happen despite the company marketing those Veer promos almost each week on Raw, following WrestleMania 38, Veer Mahaan finally came over to Monday Night Raw, and by all means, Veer has made a huge impact since his return on Raw after WrestleMania. A lot of fans were under the belief that WWE really did not have anything planned for Veer Mahaan past these comedic promo segments teasing his return, and that he would almost immediately be forgotten by creative, but that has clearly not been the case, and according to new backstage reports, WWE have massive things planned for Veer Mahaan in the coming months. Veer has been booked in a very similar way to Braun Strowman during his rise in WWE, because much like the monster among men Braun Strowman, Veer Mahaan has been destroying local competitors left and right on Raw, gaining some major momentum, and has now moved on to main roster superstars, and is currently involved in a big storyline with the Mysterios, which is sure to gain Veer even more momentum as he climbs up the ladder of WWE. One of our sources has revealed that Vince McMahon feels Veer has the size, in-ring talent, and presence about him to be a top monster heel superstar for WWE, and even a future world champion, and has been thoroughly impressed with Veer following his re-debut after WrestleMania 38. Veer Mahaan is on track to becoming a big problem for the entire WWE roster, and there is a shocking behind-the-scenes rumor going around right now that Veer Mahaan is currently being built up to eventually set his sights on the tribal chief Roman Reigns, with WWE likely to be planning an encounter between Veer Mahaan and Roman Reigns on Friday Night SmackDown in the coming months. Despite just getting started in WWE, with the way Veer Mahaan has destroyed all of his opponents, fans are already anticipating a clash between Veer Mahaan and Roman Reigns, with Veer being a formidable challenger to Roman Reigns, who really does lack a lot of credible challengers at this point, and Veer will only become more formidable with each passing week, as Veer continues his destruction on Monday Night Raw. If WWE are eventually planning for Roman Reigns and Veer Mahaan to cross paths, do you feel like WWE would book Veer to defeat Roman Reigns when they face off against each other, or would Roman Reigns put an end to Veer's dominance in WWE? Let us know. Without question, WWE have a fantastic new monster heel in their hands with Veer Mahaan. And despite the rough start to Veer's career with all the memes, many fans are now in full support of Veer being pushed as a legit heel, as he has shown great potential, and actually does remind many fans of the late Umaga, more than he does Braun Strowman, which in all honesty is likely a good thing. We now have some absolutely huge news that will theoretically change the landscape of WWE forever moving forward. While there have been reports that WWE essentially had no plans of ending the company's brand split and instead choosing to keep a separate roster for Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, many fans were very skeptical of this actually being the case. With Roman Reigns unifying the WWE and Universal Championships at WrestleMania 38, and then the Usos defeating RK-Bro to unify the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships, many fans really did begin to question as to whether or not the brand split was going to be continuing, and a new breaking backstage rumor has revealed that Vince McMahon and WWE are shockingly planning to end the brand split in the near future. And this definitely does make sense given Roman Reigns holding both the main roster World Championships, and the Usos now holding both the WWE's Tag Team Championships. However, one source mentioned that as of right now, WWE may not be verbally letting fans know that the brand split is officially over, but the way Raw and SmackDown will be run moving forward will definitely make it clear to fans that the brand split is over in the ways that count, as Vince McMahon plans for Raw superstars to regularly appear on SmackDown and vice versa. This will certainly be changing the landscape of WWE that we as fans have come to know over the last few years, and this likely is being done in an effort to increase the viewership and ratings of both Raw and SmackDown, which have been quite lackluster recently, as doing away with a brand split in the meaningful ways means that big names from both brands can appear on either show, and this can lead to way more interesting storylines and feuds, and not being nearly as repetitive, because things can get very repetitive when the same SmackDown or Raw superstars are feuding with each other all the time, and some completely fresh new storylines will be happening in the near future, which is very exciting. It would not be surprising if Vince McMahon soon announces to the WWE Universe that the brand split is over, and in all honesty, this will certainly help WWE to keep things interesting and fresh, especially when the roster is quite a bit thinner now than it was.